Thanks for tuning into A Better World. I'm your host, Luis Acevedo, and for those of you who are watching, I look like a bum right now because I just finished going for a run, so if I sound a little out of breath at times, it's because, like I said, I just finished doing a run. My wife, my mom, my sister, and me are running a 5K tomorrow up in Cleveland, so that's going to be exciting. Looking really forward to that. My mom and my sister are actually on their way down to stay with us now, leaving from Michigan, so they should be here later tonight. It'll be awesome to see them. Haven't seen them in a while. Get to spend Mother's Day with my mom, and that's something she's really excited about, is to spend time with both of her kids on Mother's Day. So that's awesome. It'll be a lot of fun, and yeah, just running to prepare for that. And those of you who keep up with me on social media know that I've been running a lot. And yeah, so anyway, I'm just finishing up with this run, and there is something that has been on my mind that I want to share with you guys. It has to do with this post that I saw on Facebook, and to me, it is a sign that we are further eating ourselves alive and we need to rebel against it. And the way to rebel against it, like I've been saying time and time again in my podcast and videos, is to do these things right here. Get married, start a family, put your faith in God, and provide. Be self-sufficient. Those things right there are how you be a rebel in today's world. And that is the American way. It really is. I mean, that's how this country was founded, through rebellion. And in order to keep the structure in which true Americans, people who know what America is, to keep those true values alive, you have to do those things, because that's when America was at the top, right? Now it's not. We are completely devouring ourselves alive. And what I saw in this Facebook post further illustrates that point, and I want to break it down for you guys and also read it to you. So I'm going to go ahead and start. And before I start, I want you to understand that in the post itself, it's about relationships. At first, it's just talking about a girl with a boyfriend, but realize, sound like a rapper, but you best recognize. No, but realize that this is supposed to be applicable the other way around too, with a boyfriend who has a girlfriend, and you'll see how messed up this is. And if you don't, hopefully you will at the end of this, you'll realize. So I'll go ahead and I'll start reading it. Girls, if you want to talk to my boyfriend, do it. He's a great conversationalist. If you haven't heard from him in a while and you want to ask him how he's doing for old time's sakes, absolutely do it. He might miss the shit out of you. If you think he's looking great today and maybe you want to tell him, do it. Everyone loves a confident boost. Hell, you could even confess your unspoken, undying love for him, and I'll encourage you to do it, because nobody should have to hold in those feelings. I'm going to stop right there. If you do not see how wrong this is already, I'll explain it. So, first off, this right here is just showing a complete and utter naive view of the world. If you people actually do this in real life, I guarantee you, your girlfriends will be stolen, your boyfriends will be stolen. People only really care about themselves in the society that we live in today, and they don't know how to have a commitment. This is true. This is why we have the hookup culture. This is why I have been seeing things that state what you should do in your 20s and shouldn't do in your 20s. And on that latter list, it always includes having children and getting married. And the reason they say that is because you shouldn't be in a committed relationship right now, because you don't know where your life will take you. While some people could say this is a very rational thought, I don't believe it to be, because this is how we end up where we are now, with low fertility rates, with low marriages, and with low marriage rates, and high divorces, and abortion skyrocketing. I mean, like 60 billion babies have died since the 90s due to abortion. And then we have this huge influx of immigrants coming in that are also contributing to the devaluation of American currency, and American morality as we know it is just diminishing it. And what this is doing right there is trying to do that to the committed relationship. They're saying there is no such thing as a committed relationship, because you can tell my significant other that you enjoy their presence and that you love them and would want to be with them. I mean, you just have to watch The Office to realize this doesn't work out well for the person who's allowing their significant other to do so. Jim ended up stealing Pam from Roy. Now, you can say Roy was a jerk and all this stuff. Who knows? We really don't know. I mean, it sounds like he was from the story and everything, but we don't really know Roy. He's just a fictional character. And the point is that Jim was going after a soon-to-be married woman, and that's wrong either way you look at it. Regardless of her relationship was crappy, that was wrong. It isn't a good thing to do that, and that is what they're encouraging here to do, is to say, it doesn't matter. I don't want you to hold in your feelings. Let them out. And that's part of the Satanism that I've been talking about in my podcast. And some of you may think that I'm going off the edge here because I'm talking about Satanism being in America. But it's true. It is 100% true, because the principle of it is to not fight back any feelings and just do what you please. And this is encouraging just that, to do what you please. Do people not understand how easily tempted people are with sex? I mean, truthfully, especially men. So if you turn this the other way around and you're a dude who's letting your woman go hang out with another dude who's confessed their undying love for her, well then you're a cuck, man. I don't know any other way to put it. I mean, you are a straight up vagina. You are not a man. You have no balls. The society has officially made you a beta male. That is the facts. They have emasculated you if you allow other people to do that. I'll give you a story here. I mean, my wife and I, when we first started dating, she had this guy friend who she would communicate with frequently, and they had a friendship long before I came into the picture. Once I came into the picture, I was like, hang on. I'm a dude. I know why dudes are friends with women. Dudes are friends with women for only one thing. And unless you're gay, that thing is to get inside those pants. I mean, that's really it, unless there's some other business reasons and things like that. But typically speaking, if it isn't something related to school or business and you're just friends with somebody of the opposite sex and you're not gay, more than likely you're trying to get with them. That's just the fact. And you also see in this really interesting experiment that took place back in the early 1900s, mid-early 1900s, where a scientist developed this rat city. And in the rat city, long story short, he tried to make this utopia type of thing. It didn't work out. This is where the whole overpopulation scare came into play, where people are saying we're going to overpopulate the earth and run out of natural resources, etc. This is what stemmed that, although now we know that isn't true. We aren't overpopulated. I mean, trees are coming back. The more wealthy a country is, the more we care about the environment, to a fault, actually, to the point where you care about the environment so much because you realize you're so wealthy and powerful as a nation that you can help control the world as well. I mean, that's the whole environmentalist agenda. Anyway, I will not digress into that. So, what was found in this story, in this experiment rather, was that the mice who were not the alphas, who could not defend themselves, who were not the dominant males, and couldn't get the actual food that was provided, they ended up going with the women, not to sleep with them, but just to be safe. And then they would go up and have sex with the male rats in order to get the food. And the male rats would allow it, essentially making them their girlfriend in a way, if you would like to put it like that. And so that is what's happening in society, and this is what this is encouraging right here, is emasculating and saying it doesn't matter, everybody's for everybody, which also ties into Brand New World. And in Brand New World, that's the saying, everybody is for everybody. There is no such thing as a committed relationship, and if you have a committed relationship, you're a weirdo. It is, you become ostracized by the society. That's what we're leading towards. And also, if you look into the Middle East, that's why they have a lot of their civil wars and just wars in general, is because of the polygamy that's over there, where certain men have all the women and some men have no women. And those men who have no women have no way to release their testosterone or to become one and equal it out with a feminine being. Now they're out there just letting their masculinity override everything and just killing people left and right for stuff they believe in, because men need, everybody needs to have meaning, but men in specific need to be geared to protect and provide. And if you have none of those things, you're going to be straight, you're going to strand out, you're going to wind up in a really, really bad place like we see in the Middle East. That's why a lot of men are over there fighting and killing each other, is because of the polygamy. And this is sort of what we're encouraging here. Whether or not it sees it, This is what it will lead to ultimately if people really start buying into this. And I'm not even finished reading it, so I'll go ahead and keep reading it. So we left off because nobody should have to hold in feelings like that. And before I actually continue, I want to bring up another point that you see military officers and just military veterans in general and emperors back in the day talk about this key thing right here. And that is to be disciplined. And if you are disciplined, then you will have freedom. And the reason they say that is because then you have complete control over yourself and you're not succumbing to your desires like this is telling you to do. Don't hide those feelings. Well, that's not a respectful thing to do. Why would you have somebody in your inner circle or associate with your significant other who you are supposedly or assumably trying to create a life with? Why would you want somebody who can come in there and tear it down? It just doesn't make sense. So I'll continue. You see, I trust him. He made a promise to be loyal to me, and I'll hold him to that. And the thing is, if he breaks that promise, then I'll take it up with him. Not you, because he broke the promise, not you. I shouldn't have to watch every move he makes around other women or be a part of every conversation he has with another girl. If you don't trust your significant other to have friends regardless of their gender, then here's a word from the wise. Get rid of them. That's not a word from the wise. That is a word from Satanism. I mean, Luciferian. This is the idea to just succumb to all your desires and everything will be fine. Treat everybody equally. Let's just pretend all these sexual tensions between men and women are strictly social constructs because, you know, there is no natural order of things, which is what this is also implying on a deeper level. And I don't know why people don't see that. It's like saying, hey, people aren't easily manipulated by sex. That's only why 80% of the internet is porn, and why most website searches are for porn. I mean, it's just, why is our culture completely sexualized? Name one song, a pop song, whether it be a pop culture song rather, whether it be rap, country, or pop, or R&B, especially R&B or hip hop, that does not talk about sex and money or anything like that. Tell me one. I'll wait. I'll wait. You know, the music that I found that doesn't really talk about that would be some older country. That's something that I really appreciate about the country genre, is they really talk about down-home American values, starting a family, and believing in God, and going to work, and putting in your 9 to 5, and being a provider, and doing all you can. You know, doing your best in this life. That's why I like the old country music. My favorite artist of all time is Waylon Jennings, and he has a bunch of issues, and I'm not saying he's a role model, but he's my favorite artist of all time. I know I just said country artist, but he is my favorite artist of all time. I love his stuff. I was actually just listening to one of his songs as I was finishing up the run, Armed and Dangerous. It's a pretty good song. I'd check it out if I were you. But you can't get away from the sexualization that's happening in our society. It's just so pervasive, and I've talked about this before. And this right here is ignoring that. It's acting as if we are not sexualizing everything and everybody, and we're acting as if we don't live in a hookup culture. I mean, that's just insane. That's what we're living in right now. We're saying, don't be committed. Like I said, what you should and shouldn't do in your 20s, the list that always pops up, and on the shouldn't do list is get married and have kids, because you shouldn't be committed and you shouldn't be tied down. We act as if those things are bad. You know what I found? I've become a better person ever since I've been married. And when I originally proposed to my wife, I was told by some people in my family and some friends that, what are you doing? I mean, why would you get married right now, etc. And I didn't really have an answer for it, because why do I need to answer them, right? I don't need to answer them to why I wanted to marry somebody. And yeah, you know what? I acknowledge, and my wife and I both acknowledge, we took a shot in the dark, because we were literally dating for 6 months, and something in my heart just told me to propose to this woman. And so I did, and you know, we took a shot in the dark, and we have a lot of the same values, which is essential for a marriage, and this whole diversity thing. And this right here is promoting the opposite of what needs to take place in order for a marriage to be successful. It's basically saying, you who are outside of this relationship, fulfill your selfish desires. That way you do not feel bad for my relationship. That's what it's saying, and it just doesn't even make any sense. And this is almost analogous to a recovering drug addict being around a current drug addict who is using a drug right then. Let's say heroin, since that's the big talk right now. heroin. You have a heroin addict who is just recovering, and then you have a heroin addict who is using, and then the person in the middle, the, what do you call them? The supporters, I don't know why it's fleeing me right now, the sponsors, that's what it's called, the sponsors. And your sponsor says, oh no, man, you're going to be good. And if you break your trust, and if you break our trust by you saying you're not going to do it because this person over here is doing it, well then shame on you. Shame on you, really. Do you see that? Would that make sense in a real, I mean, does that make sense in the real world? No, it doesn't. You would be like, hang on, your sponsor's the jerk for putting you in that predicament in the first place and saying, oh no, it's fine. We know you're 2 weeks sober, and this person over here is just, you know, injecting some of that nice heroin that just came out on the streets, chopped up everything, and they're going off into fairy tale world, and you're over here just recovering from it. You just had the, you know, cold sweats and throwing up and almost died a week ago from your recovery, but you did it, and now you're in front of this person who's doing it again, and they have the right to do it, and you have to be there. And if, you know, you guys want to associate, who am I to stop you? And if you give in, shame on you. I mean, it's idiotic. It's idiotic. It doesn't make sense. And this is what this right here is implying. And this is the entryway. This is the pathway. This is how you break down the gates to allowing the idea everybody is for everybody. It's just insane. And it all started with the sexual revolution. That idea has been alive since the sexual revolution. And I really hate when we start talking about abortions and things like that, because all this ties into it, but I'm not going to dive into all that stuff right now. I just really wanted to share with you guys my thoughts on this particular issue. I think they're pretty valid, and I would like you to leave a comment below this video. Let me know what you think, and make sure you subscribe on the YouTube page and follow on Facebook and Instagram, where you will find the videos. Facebook is Luis Acevedo, that's Acevedo, and on Instagram it's @abetterworld, and then you'll find me. The link's in the bio for my podcast on Instagram, and yeah, and moving forward, I will be making these videos again for the A Better World podcast. It was just difficult to do all the editing and stuff with school and trying to write the book and doing the other podcasts that I started, which I also want to make into video form as well, do some sort of animation skits for the short stories that I am writing and narrating. I think that would be really cool as well. However, I have to learn how to do that, so that may take some time, but that definitely is something I'm thinking about doing and want to learn. I just need to get the software for it, but that's definitely something that has been on my mind, and I will more than likely follow through with it. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. I know this is the second episode I made today. The first one I made was talking more so about the title of it, just to summarize it, is The Secret to Fame, and how really you need to give up yourself in order to ascend to the top echelons in our society. But that's the episode for today. I hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure you check out the other one as well. There's no video to it. Just go to A Better World on iTunes or Spotify or Buzzsprout and you'll see it. But all right, I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful weekend.